Ready?
Yeah.
Welcome to this week's Sports Back Talk with Boly and Ringer. And where do you want to even begin this? It seems like every week we could start in a plethora of places. You want to start with the Vikings and the Pack?
Well, we can. Okay. Maybe we'll wait a little on that.
Okay.
I always have Tom. My favorite channel, mine and Diana's on XM, is Tom Petty, and it has been for the last 2 years.
Sure.
And the song, I can't remember the name of it. My sister got lucky. She married a yuppie.
Okay.
It's just an awesome song. The lyrics are...
And it's sticky.
I'd sing it, but I got a terrible voice.
And get into sports?
Well, let's talk Mr. Pete first of all.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, let's get that...
That's a great place to start. You're right.
Let's discuss that.
I missed the party on Saturday night. How was it?
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was very well attended. Great crowd. Back to the first year, I think, the same crowd.
Okay.
But... the auction items went very well, much higher than previous years, and I know that based on
because you spent some money.
No, I didn't this year. I was getting outbid everywhere I went. I had a friend of mine. He's kept over bidding me, so I kind of let a few things go. The Spurgeon jersey went for I think at least $400, $450, which is very good, and then. Lots of sets of wild tickets all went for over $300 a set, which is normally they get around anywhere from $2 to $2.25. So those went really well. And I know all the wine things. I mean, I was putting money into all these different little funds and well attended. But I think the best thing I got out of this year's event, other than the event itself, was the Kevin Gordon speech. It was absolutely amazing.
Did anybody? I assume somebody videotaped it by chance.
Yeah, you'll be able to stream that and
probably
get that.
On Facebook or something.
Yeah, depending on what kind of system you got. The volume might be an issue, but I think you'll be all right with it. But let's get to Todd Sether. Was basically introduced him.
Okay.
And Todd did an amazing. I didn't know Todd was that witty. And very humorous, and he kind of set the tone. I think for the rest of the evening after the fine auction, and then the dinner was outstanding. A walleye put on by Leonard's, which was very good, but Todd Sether was very, very good because he had Mike as a coach, and then he of course had Kevin as a coach of the '95 state tournament team. So it was kind of funny how he just combined the two together and made a great introduction for Kevin. And then when Kevin came on. I think, and I've attended and I've seen a lot of speeches, and I don't sit out there and critique them, but sometimes when I get up, I kind of want to do things a certain way, and Kevin did. For Kevin Gordon, if you know Kevin, and he's not a person that likes to talk about himself. Okay, and he did a very good job of doing that without actually, if you know what I mean. He's not one to me. It's more about everybody else, and he just laid out a perfect thing. And the only time it was kind of funny because Todd brought some notes up. He's made humor of that, like he had 6 pages. He probably spoke a little longer than Kevin, but what Kevin did really well is he I know he had like cards or whatever, but he didn't go to them. At least I didn't notice it. Yeah, and that's what he did. He talked about passion and heart and integrity, all the modesty, and a lot of modesty spoken. But the only time I seen him get a little, he did get a little choked up at the end, and he had a hard time at the end. But he went to his notes a little bit there, and I think that kind of maybe. And I'm not speaking for him. I'm just kind of going off what I saw. I think when he went to the notes, I think he realized then that he was up there speaking in front of a large group of people that were in very much awe of what he was saying, and I was touched by everything he said.
I think a lot of times when you do that, you know that it's an important point that you're trying to make, and you want to make sure that you say it exactly the right way. And like I said, And
a lot of people didn't know, and Kevin didn't talk much about his hockey at all. his career and how good he was, because Kevin was a very good player, and he blew out a knee as a ninth grader, which I kind of remember because I've seen his scars before, but he didn't play at all in ninth and 10th grade. And then he came back as an 11th grader, played JV, played a ton of minutes for Michael P., and then had a fabulous senior year. And I think was our second leading scorer behind Gary Sampson that year, and had a heck of a year and went on to play a couple years at Rainy River. I thought he was. I remember me and Rab were out in Providence, and our coach came up and asked us about Kevin, and me and Rab said, "Bring him out." I said, "Yeah, he could play my center any day of the week." And we told Lou to bring him in. The only problem Kevin had probably with that whole thing, and what our coaching staff maybe had, was he only had 2 years of eligibility left.
Sure.
But he was probably definitely a D1 talent that actually All-American honors at Augsburg, and had a nice career, and turned it into a great coaching career. And that's where the thing comes with Mr. Pete. But I probably talked too much about you, Kevin. I know you don't like that, but I did it anyways.
Did it arrive from Toronto?
No.
Dang. Well, I guess that means I'll get an opportunity to bid on it, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I've been talking to Gina and Kim. I think they're going to do an online auction. Didn't even come in today yet, and
we're talking about a jersey from the Toronto Maple Leafs that was supposed to make it in time for the Mr. Pete thing on Saturday night, and did not arrive. And so, if you're not following Mr. Pete's Foundation on Facebook, I think this is where the bidding is going to go on, I believe.
And I don't know how that works.
Yeah, and I don't know either. But if you're interested, they're going to have some other prizes out there as well, so you can make a contribution to the Mr. Pete Foundation. Obviously, a very worthy cause.
Yeah, there's been a lot of people that can't make the event that would like to participate in the silent auction. Well, this will be your way of getting involved, and that jersey should be here shortly. I mean, it was sent about a week and a half ago, and it's coming from Canada. I think it could take a little while longer. But anyways, kudos to Todd Sether, too. Just a great introductory he gave, and set the tone for the rest of the evening, and wonderful night had by all.
And if you didn't get a chance to listen to Coach's Corner with Kim and Gina and the guy to my right, your left, as you're looking at on the TV, you can always go to, I'll do a little self-plugging here, you can always listen to the Coach's Corners. Now they're put online on Monday mornings, so you can go back and you can listen to yourself, Michael, from Coach's Corner on Saturday. Go to rjbroadcasting.com and you can listen to that interview. I thought you and the ladies did very, very well.
And you asked the right questions. I thought Gina and Kim were, as they said at the event, rock stars. They were rock stars.
I agree. Well said. So,
anyways, moving on. Where are we going? We want to talk Vikes first?
Yeah, let's talk the Vikes first. Did the Aaron Rodgers injury have that much difference on the outcome of the game, or were the Vikes in control the whole way?
They were in control, but their offense was trying to do everything they could to keep Green Bay in the game. I mean, the turnovers they had in Green Bay Packer territory, that game could have been 31-7 easily in a blowout city. But Keenum was turning the ball over. McKinnon turned the ball over.
Second fumble only in his career.
A little bit of a concern there.
3 weeks or 4 weeks.
Yeah, and but definitely, I actually saw the play, but I didn't see the injury because I had to leave. I was doing a promotion with my job in Cook, Minnesota, by the way. So I went out and I was bringing some stuff back out to my lottery van, and I saw the hit and I was leaving. I said, okay, it's a good time to break, and then I did not know he got hurt until I got back in. So I didn't see him yelling and screaming at the Vikings sideline or any of that.
Aaron Rodgers was actually yelling and screaming at the sideline?
Yes, and yelling at Anthony Barr and accusing him of basically trying to hurt him on purpose. And
what did you think of
I've watched it a number of times. There's no way.
The first time I saw it, and I'll be honest, the first time I saw it was about 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon.
Okay.
After the Vikings games got over, and when they showed it the first time, they showed it in slow motion. And of course, when you see something in slow motion, you're kind of going, "Oh, I could see why there might have been some question about whether it was a late hit or not, or he did it on purpose." And then they showed it like in real speed, and I'm like,
"You can't stop yourself."
No, I don't know. I just.
If you notice, Barr, he wasn't like purposely slamming him. He basically rolled on him after he was hitting the ground. Yeah, did his shoulder hit the ground first? Yeah. But Barr kind of rolled off of it after that.
So should Jameis Winston be upset at who did they play? Who did they play yesterday? The Arizona Cardinals. Jameis Winston got hurt in the second or third quarter?
Yep.
Basically a same type of hit where he got up in the air, you're throwing, you're up like this, and you get driven down into the dirt and whatever, and I'm just like, this is part of the game. Just because your name's Aaron Rodgers doesn't mean that you shouldn't get hit.
And that's the key part is what you just brought up. Does anybody care as much if Jameis Winston got the same hit? But I watched Mike and Mike this morning, all the CBS, NBC coverages on it, ESPN, and every, experts in the reffing business, every one of them said there should have been no penalty on the call. And of course, I don't know if you saw Mike McCarthy today.
I did not see his press conference from today or anything that happened.
He was bitter. He was mad. He thought it was purposely done, unnecessary, and all those words he used. And, well, come on. That's because McCarthy knows he can't win without him. That's
any
why.
quarterback in the league is going to take that hit. I don't care if you're whoever you are. You're going to take that hit. Just because you're Aaron Rodgers doesn't mean you shouldn't take that hit. Like I said, I saw nothing dirty in it.
Hey, go out and coach now, McCarthy. That's what I say. I mean, if you look at Zimmer, he's had tons of injuries. He lost his quarterbacks, 2 of his starters.
Yeah.
Has he whined or anything about the injuries there? No. Just go out and line up who's ever next and go out.
Do what you can.
Yeah, coach. That's your job, McCarthy. We're going to see how good a coach he really is now, aren't we?
I was watching PTI this afternoon. I just got home. I just turned on the TV, and the first thing up was, of course, the Aaron Rodgers injury. And they weren't questioning whether it was a late hit, bad hit. They didn't even question that. What they questioned was, does this hurt the NFL?
Oh,
and I'm like,
here we go.
What? And of course, Mike Wilbon got up on his box and basically said, yes, this hurts the NFL because they're losing one of their major stars. And I'm like, what? I don't get it. I can see where this hurts the Packers as a team. It's unfortunate, blah blah blah, all that stuff. But I don't see how this hurts the NFL. If Tom Brady gets hurt, does it hurt the NFL? Maybe in the big scheme, but I don't. I mean, so the Packers might not be on Sunday Night Football. Is that gonna? I mean, do people watch the Green Bay Packers on Sunday night or Monday night because Aaron Rodgers is playing, or because they're showing a good team?
What's Wilbon do? Is he still announcing Sunday Night Football or Monday night? None of that.
No.
Okay, keep out of it, Mike Wilbon. I mean, what? Why would it? I mean, why would anybody say that? The game is always still going to be more important than individual players.
Yeah,
at least I hope.
The NBA.
No, and injuries are going to happen. Brady's been hurt before. Randall Cunningham got hurt first game of the year back in the early 2000s. So, it hurts. And I've learned this well this year. It hurts fantasy football owners.
It hurts fantasy football owners. And first thing I thought of when I heard that he got hurt was, Mike doesn't want him, does he? Because if he does, I can understand why he got hurt.
Richie Rudd owns him in our league, so too bad, Rich.
Too bad, Rich.
Yeah.
We feel bad for you. Here's the world's smallest violin. Anyway, what else did you see yesterday besides AP going for 134 on 26 carries?
Let's go back to the Vikings. Well, Jerick McKinnon should be full-time starter. I don't know if you noticed the offense every time Latavius got in there, it kind of bogged down.
Predictable?
Very predictable. 2 yards makes him into 3 yards. McKinnon goes 2 yards, been making him into 9. McKinnon's playing with a lot of confidence. He's making that first cut real quick.
He's not hesitating.
Well, that's something that's going to be told, but you got to be careful there. Then you start doing this, you slow your moves down, and you're not, attacking that hole like you should. And he's got to hold on to the ball. It's been known, especially in the NFL, you start
$15 million. You did it all the time. You're okay.
And if you start turning the ball over, you will not be playing in the NFL.
Yep, I agree.
So that's my take on that.
Defense was very good yesterday.
Very good, and it made it a little easier not having to worry about Aaron Rodgers. But also the Vikings didn't have Diggs, missing a few other players on the offense. A new offensive lineman. I
was going to say Easley was out. Is that correct?
So a good win for the Vikes there in first place, tied for first right now with Green Bay. And next week they got Baltimore, who looked terrible against Chicago and ended up losing in overtime. But Baltimore's down, and that should be a good win for the Vikings there. Get to 5-2, and then I don't know.
Off to London, right?
Yeah, that's
the
right.
next weekend, right? Off to London for a 9:30 a.m.
Yep.
game. Set your clocks and all that other stuff.
That'll be interesting. So good NFL. The last undefeated team, Kansas City Chiefs,
Laid an egg?
got outplayed. I mean, Pittsburgh came out to play, and Antonio Brown had a good game. I don't know if you saw, but Martavius Bryant's come out and said he wants a trade.
I did not.
Remember I told you last week, I said, Antonio Brown's going to complain, and then Martavis Bryant, I mean, he should be the one complaining now because now they're spoon-feeding Antonio. And well, here comes Martavis Bryant. I want to get traded because I'm not seeing the ball enough. So,
Couldn't happen to a nicer team.
NFL at its finest. And I don't know, Martavis just came off a 1-year-long suspension. I don't think he should be complaining or asking for anything right now. He should be lucky he has a job in the NFL.
So you don't want to touch the AP thing? You just want to let it go?
Good for him.
I'll make this prediction.
Uh-oh.
Won't have another 100-yard rushing game the rest of the season.
Okay.
That's my prediction.
Fair enough. Who'd they play yesterday?
They played Tampa, who's not very...
Nah, very, very weak against the run. And
So...
Boy, Tampa, the Raiders, and Atlanta. 3 teams I thought were playoff contending teams, and actually, I think I had Tampa making the Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken. And all 3 teams are struggling, and Derek Carr came back, and nothing changed there. Amari Cooper's not catching the ball, so Jack Del Rio's having a hard time out in Raiderville, and we'll see. It's going to be interesting to see if those 3 teams get back in it, but... Detroit got beat for the 3rd straight time.
The Giants, my Giants won yesterday.
What a strange game that was. I mean, exactly everything that happened was exactly the opposite of what should have happened.
Yeah.
I mean, Denver should have been the dominant defense, and they weren't. The Giants were.
Scary.
C.J. Anderson, 12 yards total offense? I mean, fantasy owners can't be too happy about that either. But good week in the NFL. It ends tonight with Tennessee and Indianapolis. I'm not even going to ask you who you got in that game because nobody really cares. I think the only ones that care.
I hear Mariota's coming back or
Maybe
something?
Mike Wilbon cares about that game.
I had PTI on the background, and then, of course, I went to Monday Night Countdown. Thought they said something about Mariota coming back somehow.
Yeah, he's playing tonight.
I have, yeah, it could very well be. So I agree.
Last word.
So, want to move on to the Wild?
Yeah, I got stuff on the Wild.
So, a first home game on Saturday night. We're ahead. I was at the Gopher football game and got in the car and found out they lost in overtime.
Yeah, second 2-goal lead they've lost in the last, well, they've only played 4 games, but they've lost 2 2-goal games in the 3rd period, which a Bruce Boudreau team does not do, and if they do, he's not going to be happy about it. He was kind of came on. I could tell he was perturbed. He was red in the face. So to me, that said he was doing a little screaming in the locker room. He was disappointed in his veterans. Stahl scored, but Boudreau doesn't care about that. He likes the scoring, but Stahl let him down in the 3rd period. He was out there for all 3 goals against in the 3rd period. Suter and Spurgeon, -4, -3. Those are your top 2 D. So he actually said I should have played the 4th line a little more, but the only reason he didn't is Columbus was only playing 3 lines and he didn't want to throw them out. But I thought Landon Ferraro, who scored a goal, his dad Ray, he was an NHL veteran probably for 18 years, so I thought he played well. And Christoph Berchi was also up. They didn't bring Rao up. I thought he would be one, but they had 3 right-hand shots, and I think they each played about 7 or 8 minutes right around there. Not a lot.
Okay.
So, again, Boudreau not happy with his overall defensive team play. I think they're getting better in the neutral zone, and like a friend of mine said, now you'll see them working a lot more in the... They are off till Friday, so they'll be doing a lot of defensive zone, neutral zone, even offensive zone defensive coverage, because you got to pressure the puck, but you can't get out of position by doing it. So you got to be careful. You can't be giving up all kinds of chances, especially with a team that's short. There are 5 of their top 9 forwards. If you think about 5 of their top 9 forwards are not in. Yeah, that's crazy.
So and that's where I kind of wanted to go. They played Thursday, Saturday.
Yep.
2 games real quick. Then they played Thursday, Saturday, and now they don't play again until Friday. What are they going to be playing 3 games in 5 days the rest of the season?
Well, they got to catch up somewhere. The schedules are a little looser this year. The Olympics aren't going to happen for the NHL players, so that opened up some
Except
space.
unless your name's Ovechkin, who's scored like 1,000
Well,
goals.
good luck with that. If he goes over there, he's going against the NHL's wishes, and he could get fined or maybe even suspended if he did it. Let's see if he calls the bluff on that.
Yeah, it's going to be very. I can't wait to find out what they do. So,
but the Wild now 1-1-2, 1 win, 1 loss, and 2 overtime losses. So after 4 games, 1 home game, I mean that's not bad. But again, when you have 2-goal leads in the third period, you should not give those up at an NHL level. It's very tough to do in most places. So the Wild need to clean that up a little bit. You hear about Parise today?
I did not hear about Parise today.
Not good.
Not good.
No, he was scheduled to possibly play over the weekend. Actually was scheduled to play. They put Boudreau gave him a red jersey, which means that's a line jersey. Usually if they give him a white jersey, it means you're injured and won't be playing. But he was put on a red jersey, lasted about 20 minutes and went off the ice. Boudreau never even knew he left the ice. So they talked to Boudreau and Chuck Fletcher after practice and said he had a minor setback. I think it's a little more minor.
A little more major than minor?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, for him to leave, that guy's a tough kid. I mean, I sit here and say, I'm upset because to me, he shouldn't have been playing all these summer hockey things, because when you're making $7 million per, again, Russo got all over me for mentioning that today, and I don't care. I just look at it as I put myself in the owner and the general manager's position, okay? And do I expect the players to go out and work out during the summers? Absolutely. But if you got a bad back and have missed X amount of games the last 2 years because of it, why is your picture all over Facebook and social media of playing all these debut game leagues? I mean, yeah, is it as serious as regular NHL games? No, but it's serious, okay? And Parise, to be effective, needs to be playing in those dirty areas, whether it's in a live NHL game or whether it's in pickup hockey. He needs to be in those tight areas. So all it takes is, that back's acting up, and if he strains something and he's injured again, I don't care what you say. That to me, that's not right. But that's my own opinion. It doesn't mean I'm right. But I mean, if I just put myself and say, okay, here's $7 million. You're 34 years old. Okay, you kind of know how to play the game. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's never going to be one to be cheating on anything as far as games, practices. He's going 110% in everything that guy does. Okay, and that's why the same thing in the pickup games. He's going to be going 110%.
Yeah.
So my point there is he's got to shut it down some, and for him to play another 6 years, like the contract's saying, that's going to be tough for him because now the experts out there aren't saying it's the back. Well, what else could it be?
Yeah. Obviously something could have happened.
Yeah, the knee. I mean, it's not a knee. Okay, if you watch the video, there's some video on him today. You kind of watch him. There's something amiss. Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see.
Very interesting. What else in the NHL did you see? Maybe in the last week. Who's besides Ovechkin? Like I said, scoring 9 goals in the first 4 games? Was it 5 games? Something like that.
Well, Las Vegas finally lost, but then they won again the other night. I believe they're 4-1. Nashville's starting to win a few games now, but they did lose in overtime to Chicago. Chicago looks good, although the Wild did beat them in a nice win.
On the road?
There was a big controversial offside. I don't know enough about that rule to say yes or no. Now, if I was reffing the game, I probably would have called offside. But according to the rules, they said no.
Yeah, they showed it a bunch of times, and I think they got the call right with replay. That's all you can ask.
Yeah, they've replayed it enough. You got to believe. But after watching Safarian Jenkins yesterday against the Patriots, and them not counting that touchdown, you just kind of wonder what are they looking at that we're not looking at.
Yeah, I mean, if a guy was bobbling it and then caught it and crossed the line,
I don't know. It was a goofy call. But anyways, NHL going strong. I think I lose my NHL package. I think tonight's the last night, but not a big deal. I think I've watched maybe 2 games on that thing, and
I watched a little bit, a couple times last week when the baseball playoffs were going till like 3 o'clock in the morning. You know, you'd flip over during the commercial to see what the score was, but.
But the Jets are starting to win. Dallas is starting to win. So the Wild got to hold court here. They got to keep in it till they start getting these guys back. Anywhere from 1 to 3 weeks for Foligno. I say Nino's probably going to be out 4 to 5 more. High ankle sprains can be touchy. And if we can get Coyle back within 6 to 8 weeks, that'll be a good thing. And hopefully he'll come back with some tenacity. He'll be energized and maybe even be stronger. Who knows?
Hopefully. Looking forward to watching the Wild in Winnipeg on Friday night.
Yeah, it should be a good game. And then Saturday they play again. Who do they? Calgary, in Calgary.
So I'd maybe just jump in the car and follow them over.
You should.
I should just go on right west.
Yeah, I'm sure you can get tickets in Winnipeg. Pretty easy.
Well, I already got them. I got them.
That's later on in the year, though.
No.
You're going this Friday?
This Friday.
I didn't know that.
I'm going to Winnipeg, yeah.
Who bought them for you?
My daughters, for my birthday.
They are so nice to you.
They are good to me. They are good to me.
So where are you staying?
You know, you're the second person to ask me that. Right across from the Forks, and about 2 blocks from the old whatever they call it now, the MTS Center. It's just a couple block walk. Starts with an H. If you know, like
Hilton?
No, it's not the Hilton, and it's not the Hyatt. It's some local whatever. So I've been told it's a very nice hotel. I honestly I don't remember. I made the reservation a couple weeks ago.
Super 8 has an H in it. Stay at the Super 8?
No. So I'm looking forward to.
Who's going to the game with you?
My wife.
Okay. Does she like hockey as much as you do? Or more?
If there's any sport that she is going to go watch with me, it's only going to be hockey.
Really?
It's not like would not go watch a basketball game with me. She did go watch the Winnipeg Blue Bombers a few years ago with me, but she did that probably under duress. But hockey is one sport that she will come watch. She likes to watch the guys fight. I don't get it. She doesn't like to watch a movie with fighting in it. She doesn't want to see anybody get killed in a movie, but she likes to go watch the hockey teams fight. I took her to the college NCAA tournament at the X a couple of years ago. Middle of the second period, she turns to me, she says, "This is boring."
There's no fights.
I said, "Why?" She goes, "There's no fighting." I'm like, "Who are you?"
So she goes to a fight and see if a hockey game breaks out.
Yeah, there you go. So 25 years tomorrow. Tuesday we're married. So this is MEA weekend is always an anniversary trip somewhere, some trip. And this year.
Not that going to Winnipeg for a hockey game's not a neat and fun little cool thing, but being married to you for 25 years, I would have thunk, Hawaii.
Well, we've got a little bigger trip planned for later on. That's another topic. NBA gets started on Wednesday. I'm going to squeeze this in because Mike doesn't want to talk about it. He's getting a drink of soda here. And the Timberwolves start with the San Antonio Spurs on Wednesday night on the ESP. Look at you! Look at that! You had it written down.
Start Wednesday night.
And he's even got a starting lineup.
I got starting lineup.
Who is it?
Teague is playing the point.
Okay.
Who's playing the shooting guard?
Jimmy Butler.
And then small forward is Wiggins. Who's a power forward?
Let's see. Who do we got left?
Between Karl Anthony Towns and
Cat is the center, but we know he doesn't play there.
Taj Gibson.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we got Shabazz coming in off the bench. Gorgie Dang. Jamal Crawford, who will spell Teague, a great point guard who likes to bomb away. So he could be instant offense. And then Aaron Brooks is on there. Of course, Bizalika.
I don't even want to try to say that name.
He's in there. And, of course, Aldridge Kidd from Azia Bloomington kid.
Yes.
That played at Kansas. So he's another one. So there's your Timberwolves, and we expect a little bigger, better season out of them.
46 wins. I think we said
52.
That. 52 wins.
You didn't listen to me last week? 52 wins.
You said 52?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay, we'll take 50. I'll take that because he was right about the Astros, but he wasn't right about how many games the Twins were going to win. But
all right, go for football. I'll let you tackle that. I just saw the final score and I said it was a big comeback. But
I'll be honest. The Lightning and the rain delayed to start the game. Walked in the rain. Big bolt of lightning. All of a sudden, they were letting people in like crazy. They didn't want to get sued, so people were just they were taking ticket stubs and they weren't.
Oh, really? Weren't even checking them.
They were hardly waving the wand at you. They were just letting everybody in. So the game was delayed about a half hour, and Gophers looked good early, and then the running game for Michigan State took over. Goodness gracious, Rhoda, the quarterback, your guy.
Yeah, I think he got
your
benched.
guy ended up getting pulled about midway through the second quarter. Last series, maybe of the second quarter, and Croft came in, and I was very impressed. Threw a very nice football, threw an interception where I thought his hand got hit. They said he underthrew him, but it looked like to me live that his arm got hit, and watched it on the replay, and I still believe his arm got hit as he was trying to follow through. Played really well. The Gophers cut it to 23-13. Michigan State got right down and made it 30-13, and I walked out the door.
Really?
I walked out
Boy,
the door.
fair weather fan, aren't we?
And there was a long ride home afterwards, and I didn't even turn it on when I got in the car.
Really?
I turned on some college football games or whatever, and all of a sudden I get a text from my good friend Sheldon, who got me the ticket to the game, and he says, geez, the Gophers made a comeback. It was 30-27, and I'm like...
Did Sheldon leave too?
Sheldon left before I left.
Boy, you guys are real pieces of work. Tell Sheldon next time he gets these big time seats to give him to Boly. I'll stay for the whole game. I just don't take advantage of these great seats and then leave halfway through the game. What is that about?
Second deck in the corner, 23 rows up.
Yeah.
Not the greatest seats in the world. But
really?
But the price was right.
So Sheldon let you down?
No.
That's what you said to me before the show.
No. I love there's not a bad seat in TCF. You can sit
there
just about anywhere. And we got a nice meal in Mariucci. I got to go sit up in the suites at Mariucci and have dinner before for Affiliates Day. And
what do you think of the Gopher hockey team having to take a day off because of that?
do you think they took it off because of all the stuff going on?
Oh,
with
yeah.
it being
No
Parents'
doubt.
Weekend and everything?
No doubt.
Or because they don't have enough place to park 50,000 people and another 10,000 people for a hockey game?
A lot of tweets about Gopher hockey, about half empty, what's it called, 3M Center now?
3M Arena at Mariucci.
And there's another thing that's wrong with it. Colton Williams Arena, that place will get packed back up again, and boy, a lot of comments. Half-filled arena, Penn State, who's that? You know, just the overall. Then Don Lucia keeps throwing it down everybody's throat that everything's great. The Big Ten's going to be great. Well, nothing will match the WCHA. That just won't happen. So
No, and I think, obviously the parents thing and having a place to do it at, but they could have went over to Williams Arena or to the Pavilion to do all that stuff. I think it had to do more with the parking issues.
Okay.
Well, if you don't ride the train in, it's very difficult to find a parking spot. And I did get there really early. The game was a 7 o'clock game. I was in Dinkytown at 3:30.
Oh.
And I found a place to park where I could put my credit card in and paid the freight that way rather than riding the train in like I probably should have done. But I thought,
You know where we parked when we went?
no.
At the zoo, or not the zoo, the State Fair grounds.
and then-
they have free shuttles. There's tailgating over there, and
Okay.
they shuttle you over and they'll shuttle you back, and worked out good.
I wanted a quick exit to 35W. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I
was
don't
in
blame it.
Dinkytown, I could get out to 35W and head north. And
Sounds like you and Sheldon wanted the game to be rotten, so you could, I think you guys were more worried about getting home than you were about watching the game, the way it sounds.
maybe. The Gophers didn't do a whole lot to make us want to stay.
No,
however.
I guess
that
not.
was part of it.
What'd you have to eat over at the thing?
They had chicken breasts and they had pork chops about yay thick, and they had mashed potatoes that looked like they had been had glue put in them. You couldn't
That means they're gluten free.
they were stretched, and then they had vegetables that were cooked like 9 days ago. They were just mush. And
So you're basically putting down the free seats you got. The free meal you got was really bad.
they had free beverages.
Anything come up to your standards
they
at
had
all?
free beverages.
Okay, so you had 3 Diet Cokes.
I got to go inside Mariucci again.
Any hors d'oeuvres?
No,
So you're mad about that?
no,
Oh, okay.
no. It was a great time, good trip. Everything went just about the plan, except the Gophers could have played a little bit better. It was disappointing that they got the ball first and goal on the 3-yard line, had to set up for a field goal on their second possession after the Michigan State punter had to go right through his, well, I shouldn't say right through his hands, he had to reach for it and didn't capitalize there, and then things just unraveled, and
Okay.
I think Croft will be the starting quarterback this weekend when they take
I
on
would
the
think
Illini.
so. Yep. They play Illinois. Is that in
That's
Champaign?
No, it's home. It's homecoming this week.
Oh, so we got a chance.
So we got a chance.
They got beat by Rutgers, so they're actually probably pretty upset. You know who the quarterback of that team is?
Yeah, a little guy named Jeff George.
Jeff George Jr.
Yeah.
Or is it the third?
I think it is the third.
Okay.
Someday I'll regale you with a story about Jeff George, and then.
So is he a lot like Dad? Like he's super talented but can't win?
That's possible. That's possible. I got a lot worse story about Jeff George, but I won't share that.
Senior?
Yeah.
And Tommy Kramer, speaking of which, he was at in Viking land here. He's 62 years old, and they did some sort of honoring, and he was in the Star Tribune, and he was at the Vikings game. And
Well,
2-minute Tommy.
2-minute Tommy.
The guy could throw a football. I'll tell you, he came out of Rice University. I'll never forget that.
He'd like to tip his arm though.
Yeah, he. Yeah,
Happens.
yeah,
It happens.
yeah.
So, let's see what else.
I don't have anything else. We'll open it up for Q&A.
What about baseball?
Gosh, I
You,
just.
you got your
I'm
Astros
trying,
up
Ringer.
2-0.
Ringer, I'm
and you're
trying.
mad.
It's just so boring.
It is so long.
And I'm glad Madden actually made a big scene on that catcher covering the plate a little bit, then got called for interference. Because that's one of the most exciting plays in baseball, and they got rid of it. Like one guy said, well, can we bring it back just for the playoffs? And they said, well, that would be kind of difficult. But
Right.
most real baseball enthusiasts want the catcher to be able to block the plate, and they want that collision, and so be it. Okay, that's part of the game. Now, they can kick guys out if, deliberately throws elbows and stuff, but they call that the Ray Fosse rule, about 40 years late. It's just, it's a good part of baseball. There's a lot of things in baseball that are genuine and traditional, like double headers. I used to love those, and they've just taken away the good things.
So the Astros win 2-1 twice.
Yeah.
That's not close enough for you. That's not exciting enough for you.
8-7?
The Dodgers win on a walk-off last night with the hair flowing in the wind. Gibson this doesn't.
See, I'll never remember this guy. I can't remember who it is now. He hit it last night. I don't even know who the guy
Turner?
is.
Does that sound right? I don't know. I'm being honest. I don't remember his name either.
I don't know. Shave your beard. Cut your hair, for crying out loud. What's the point of that?
To make a statement, isn't that all what being
It's
a
all
pro,
about me.
Isn't that being a pro athlete is all about? It's about me?
Didn't we bring this up last week?
We did.
Remember Steve Garvey, All-American boy?
Nobody remembers him because he was an All-American boy. He didn't do
Yeah,
anything
clean
wrong.
shaven, nice hair. Just a nice.
Play baseball the way he was supposed to.
I guess he ventured out a little bit. So anyways, I just like old-time traditional baseball from the 70s and 80s. And
Any comebacks coming in these two series? Are the Astros and the Dodgers in? They're up 2-0. Both
well,
up 2-0.
Kershaw's pitching at least one more time. That's another win. And then also the guys who pitched the first two games for Houston are both get to pitch at least one more time. So they got to be able to beat one of those guys once. And I think Yankees will make it interesting. I think they'll win Game 3, and then it'll be interesting.
So you're saying no longer?
I say at least six games in both. Yep.
6 games in both?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cubbies aren't going away.
Cubs aren't probably going to go away, I agree. But I'll go on. I'll go 6 in both. Maybe Houston in 5. I just
Okay.
I just don't. Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know if were you telling me, or was it somebody else that maybe it was my uncle telling me that the 4 biggest markets are in the baseball playoffs? L.A., New York, Chicago, and Houston are the 4 biggest markets in the
Houston?
Houston's the 4th largest in the United States.
Recently?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or was this the last 10 years?
No, this is where it's at right now. They're the 4 biggest.
Chicago makes
television-
sense, New York makes sense, and LA.
And Houston is 4th.
Is there some sort of money conspiracy thing happening here? Or that's
you would think that the Fox and TBS.
I can't believe Houston's ahead of Boston, but
Gotta
that's
be happy.
That's me.
They got to be happy.
Boston has to be ahead of Houston, so I'm going to disagree with that.
Okay, well he's going to do his
I'm
homework.
not
and
believing
we're gonna
any
have- We're going to have
story.
next week off, I believe, so you'll have 2 weeks to get your facts straightened away or not, for sure.
Yeah, I'll do research. Yeah, right.
All right, Lloyd, what do you got for us? Q&A. Nothing.
Nothing? Anybody got questions on anything in life? It doesn't have to be sports. Politics, I might not answer
Geez,
them.
I don't know.
What's the what?
How the Falls hockey team going to be?
Young. I think they're good in goal. I think the Call kid's back for his senior year. Should be all right on D. Beckvar's coming back. A couple other guys. A couple freshmen are coming up. Both of them are fairly good players. We'll see if they can help out. But they'll be inexperienced and young, and hopefully they get better. And we'll see. They're not up there with the Hermantowns or anything like that. But we'll see. It's George is a good coach, so he'll plug them in, and the kids will have to work hard and try to win some games. It's kind of what you got to do.
Kind of what you got to do.
Good question, though. I'll know more on that in the next 3 weeks, but I'm just winging it here.
Playoffs do get started next week. Monday, Little Fork Big Falls volleyball team will get underway. It looks like they're either going to get Big Fork or Cherry on Monday. Bronco football team will be, I'll go 99.4% sure that they'll play Proctor next Tuesday.
So all teams get in the playoffs?
All teams except Little Fork Big Falls and Northeast Range in football. Their section decided that only 6 of the 8 teams are going to make it, so that the top 2 teams get a bye.
Okay,
so there's something to play.
So in 2A, all 8 are in.
Correct, but in 3, the Broncos 3A, 16.
So Proctor, I guess, would be number 1. Is there a chance we can move up?
Proctor's the 3 seed, the Falls is the 6, and then 4 and 5 will be.
Oh, there is 6 only.
Only 6 teams in 2A. It's 3A, 7 3A, not 2A.
Okay, so what happens the winner of that? They have to play into like subsection type thing or sub-region?
Well, they're right now, number 1 will be Esco, 2 is 2 Harbors, and then Proctor's 3 and 6 the Falls, 4 and 5 Virginia Greenway, and then
the winner out of those 6, where do they go? Like
the winner of
Cass Lake or somewhere?
The winner of those 6 teams?
Winner out of that bracket, where will they play then?
They get 6. Let's see, I gotta think about this. They'll get 6, which off the top of my head I couldn't tell you where.
Section 6?
Section 6.
Yeah, it's all different in hockey and football. But so they got 1 game left?
The Broncos play Virginia on Wednesday night. About the time that the show's on, the Broncos will be at home wrapping up their regular season.
It's a Wednesday game?
It's Wednesday with MEA coming in. So
I can go to that, watch the Broncos last home game, and then come home and watch the Timberwolves in San Antonio.
Correct. That'll be about right because they get started at 8:30.
I'm guessing one of those 2 might happen.
What?
The football game and the basketball game. I'm doubting that basketball thing's really going to be stirring my interest that much.
Okay.
But when they're in the playoffs, baby, I'm all in.
He's all in. He's bought in. And then the Bronco volleyball team will open playoffs next Wednesday at home. Almost assured that they will be playing Proctor as well.
Okay.
At home on Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. Next week on Thursday the 26th, the cross-country teams will be down in Cloquet.
Okay.
And then if the volleyball teams are still in it, they would be playing on Fridays.
When's hockey practices start?
Hockey practice for the girls starts on October 30th, and the boys start on Monday, November 14th.
2 weeks later this year.
2 weeks later, that's usual.
It is.
Is 2 weeks so that they've got hockey arena space all over the place.
And their first game,
the Bronco
girls
boys,
play during deer hunt, I know that.
the girls play at Roseau on the 14th, and then play at North Shore on the 16th. First home game is on the 21st.
Those are Tuesday, Thursdays then.
Tuesday, Thursday, Tuesday, and then they're off until after Thanksgiving. The boys open with Little Falls on Thanksgiving Friday.
That's my favorite day of the year.
Favorite day of the year, football the day before, football all day, and then Broncos
Yeah,
that
that's
night.
right. That's right. So should be fun.
You won't be shopping?
On the internet.
On the internet.
No, I'll be out shopping.
Anything else? Thanks, everybody.
Don't take us too serious.